We're going to go over Trevor Noah's The Daily Show. Look at these ass, Trump Family Edition. This is more liberal bias that you see in the media now, in cable media in general. They don't really look for facts. They just try to sound funny, and they even fail at doing that. So let's get started.
The Trump family has a long history of being assholes. It all started in 1822 when Thaddeus Trump parked his horse in a handicap spot. But later,
that's just really not funny. You know you're not funny when you need a laugh track to tell the audience when and when not to laugh.
You could say they've been stretching the limits how big an asshole a person can be. Starting with President Trump himself, who has apparently had nothing better to do than pick fights with children.
President Donald Trump is going after a 16-year-old girl on Twitter. Climate change activist Greta Thunberg was named Times' Person of the Year. She's been known to chastise world leaders for not doing enough. Trump responded to a tweet congratulating Thunberg by saying, quote, "So ridiculous. Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Chill, Greta, chill."
Come on, man.
She does need to act like a 16-year-old girl, but the Democrats and the liberals keep on propping her up. I mean, they just propped her up as Times Person of the Year. Liberals just can't get enough of her. And when Trump says something about it, oh, well, he's the bad guy, you know?
The President of the United States is on Twitter bullying a
Bullying. Yeah, that sounds like a bullying problem.
Just try to imagine any other president doing something like this, huh? Like imagine FDR doing a fireside chat where he just goes in on Shirley Temple. You know? He's like, "My fellow Americans, this little girl can't dance for shit. She's got worse moves than I do, and my legs don't work."
It's not funny at all. There's funnier stuff on YouTube, that's for sure.
Also, Donald Trump has no right to tell anybody to chill, all right? He is the least chill human being of all time. Like, if there's anyone you wouldn't want on your meditation app, it's this guy. Can you imagine him trying and be like, "Inhale and exhale. Let the air rush into your lungs like the criminals and rapists swarming across the border, coming to take your jobs and kill your parents. In fact, your parents are already dead."
Still not funny, Trevor Noah. I don't know how you got this job, but you need to work on your delivery, man.
But I gotta admit, to Greta Thunberg's credit, she took it all in her stride. Because after Trump tweeted her, chill, changed her Twitter bio, working on her anger management problem, currently chilling and watching a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. And that's phenomenal from her, and I'm not surprised. You know, she's used to handling temper tantrums from immature boys. I get it. And it's not just Daddy Trump who's making headlines right now.
They're just trying to prop up Greta Thunberg. If a 16-year-old girl says it, then it must be true, right? He knows everything about the world. He has so much wisdom and knowledge. They just did this so that way no one else can criticize her. They all be called bully, immature. This is their defense. A 16-year-old girl.
Because while he's beefing with kids, Asshole Jr. is over here taking shots at even more vulnerable targets.
A new report reveals Donald Trump Jr. went on a hunting trip to Mongolia this past summer and killed an endangered sheep. He reportedly shot the endangered Argali sheep at night using a laser sight.
Who is this guy? He needed to use a laser sight at night?
A laser sight at night. Yeah, you would use a laser sight at night. Let's look at this sheep. Does that look like a normal sheep to you? A sheep's head is as big as Trump Jr.'s entire torso. He paid for it all with his own money at a permit. This happens all the time. I mean, people buy permits. The money goes straight into the wildlife fund to help. Apparently, they only offer a few permits per year. And Donald Trump Jr. actually acquired one. It's more or less donating for a hobby that he apparently enjoys. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service said it will review allegations that Donald Trump Jr. may have illegally killed a rare sheep. during a recent trip to Mongolia, imported parts of the animal back to the U.S. Yes, you would have a trophy of the animal you just killed. What would be the point spending thousands of dollars? Animal conservation activists said President Donald Trump's eldest son may have violated federal wildlife anti-trafficking law after ProPublica reported that last week he shot and killed an Argali sheep without proper permits during a personal trip in August. He did acquire all the proper permits. The Mongolian government issued a permit for hunting the sheep after the fact, and it's unclear what happened to the animal after it was killed, according to the report. The spokesperson said that the hunting trip was purchased in 2015 at a National Rifle Association auction before his father announced his presidential campaign. All permits were secured through third-party hunting groups. You're just wasting resources at this point. Mr. Trump paid for his trip to Mongolia on his own, flew commercial and timely, and secured all permits through a third-party outfitter as is standard in the industry. More facts that apparently Trevor Noah just couldn't get right.
This is an animal so peaceful. Literally just thinking about them makes us fall asleep.
Yes, so peaceful. Horns are as big as your entire leg.
And he's coming at them like it's a raid on bin Laden. It's a sheep.
Sheep. Just a sheep.
Vulnerable, it can't go outside without wearing a sweater. It's a sheep. You killed a sheep. You basically went hunting in a nursery rhyme. Who are you? And also, what kind of asshole wants to kill an endangered species? Like, most of us don't even want to take the last nacho out of the bowl. And Don Jr.'s out here putting panda bears in chokeholds. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
You need better writers, dude.
This family is so cartoonishly villainous. They even do charity like assholes.
Well, President Trump will be paying up to $2 million to charities to satisfy his settlement of a New York State lawsuit over his misuse of charitable funds at the Trump Foundation. The president was accused of illegally using money from the Trump Foundation to help his 2016 campaign. Also, as a part of that settlement, the president was required to acknowledge his misuse of the funds, his children to undergo training about misusing charity funds, and they must report to the Attorney General if they ever create a new charity.
Yeah, you heard that right. The president had to pay $2 million because he stole money from his own charity.
This thing just never ends. I did do a little research on this, and it seems that it was court ordered and it was court mandated, and it is true.
He used charity money to make political donations, settle lawsuits involving his business, and bought a painting of himself to hang at his own resort. Like, if Trump weren't rich, he'd be one of those people who pretend that they're dying just to start a GoFundMe, you know? He'd be like, hey guys, the doctor says I've got Ebola burculitis in my Lorax, and the only thing that can make me better is to own a giant picture of my own dumb face.
This is just hyperbolic in nature and makes almost no sense.
Don't steal from a charity, asshole.
This has been the New York State Guide to Avoiding Charity Abuse.
Hilarious, and all the applause is necessary as well.